Hello there. Over the weekend, we brought you some world title action that will live in the memory forever. We also brought you some outstanding British title action on top of it. And who knows, maybe more of the same here tonight. Tonight, we find out what Stephen Smith really has to offer. 24 straight wins so far, 15 by knockout. Never yet tested in championship class, though. Smith challenges Bobby Vanzie, the British and Commonwealth lightweight champion. And he puts both titles on the line here.
Vanzie,
and you feel for both men, this is a defining moment in their careers so far.
I'm up for this and I'm ready for this, so there'll be a great display from Stephen Smith on Monday night.
This is your time and your opportunity, and you don't want to let anyone down.
Exactly. I'm boy 2000. I'm the boy for the year ahead and the years to come. So yeah, I won't let anybody down.
There is no way I'm going to let the hate I feel for Stephen Smith eat me up in the ring. There is no way. I will fight a professional fight as I always have done. I'm the British and Commonwealth champion, and I will remain the British and Commonwealth champion. Let me show you something. One thing. It's not changing. I'll have this on straight after the fight also, you know. Nothing's going to change.
What a big talk, and as you'll hear on both sides, plenty of needle ahead of our top of the bill here tonight. We're joined by Billy Schwer, twice a world title contender at lightweight, alongside Barry McGuigan. We'll also be reflecting on the astonishing action from Las Vegas on Saturday night. Morales against Barrera, an epic.
Oh, big shots getting through. Look at this again, Barrera. Just getting the better of it. He had to take one step back from a right hand, but look at this exchange now. Barrera, though, nails him with a right and a left hook, and Morales wobbled down. And then another Barrera left hook, and this after Morales had hit him with a series of right hands in another memorable round here. It's extraordinary stuff.
That truly was a top of the bill for any occasion, but before that on Saturday night, the Alexander Samuels fight for the British light middleweight crown, long-awaited needle match at domestic level, showed us just how thrilling those sort of affairs can be. Billy Schwer, do you see similar elements in the British lightweight title fight here tonight?
I think so. They're both talking a good fight. Let's hope it lives up to expectations, and they both carry out what they're going to say they're going to do. Why
has it taken a little bit of time for it to get together? Actually, it's helped to boil the pot up a little better, but why have they circled around each other?
It has. I think there's been a couple of pull-outs by Stephen Smith through injury, so that's created a little bit of needle.
And Vanzie wasn't happy about it and let him know about that.
That's right, yeah. So he had a few things to say about that, which in effect was a bit of rivalry, a bit of needles in there, I think, because he's been waiting patiently for the shot, Stephen, but he's had to pull out a couple of times.
Showy sort, isn't he, the champion?
Just a little touch, yeah. He's a little bit flash, just a little bit.
How would you assess Stephen Smith for us?
He sounds good. He looks nice and relaxed. Looks cool. He's talking a good fight. So let's hope he produces the goods tonight.
This is where he made his British bow as a professional. Incidentally, he established himself in Germany, and he took a long time, really, Barry, to make the transition from being a useful newcomer to a British title contender.
This is a fairly important fight tonight. This is the fight where he has to show courage and determination. If he can't show that, if he can't walk through punches against someone as tricky and awkward as Vanzie, and that's what he's going to have to do, he may come out the loser here. This is a very important night. He's got to have the courage and the conviction to go at him.
More from Barry and Billy as we go here. That's the top of the bill coming a little later on, but we'll get the action underway here at the Elephant and Castle in South London with a super middleweight affair. Brian Magee against Rob Stevenson, and the first live appearance tonight for Magee, already emerging as one of our best young talents. He is still at the learning stage, that must be stressed, and against Rob Stevenson tonight, a good chance to gather more experience. So that's live. Adam Smith and Jim Watt are at ringside for us tonight, and our Master of Ceremonies is Simon Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome viewers joining us live on Sky Sports here to the Elephant and Castle Leisure Centre, where Frank Maloney for Panics Promotions, and sponsored this evening by Energising Red Square, who presents an evening of championship boxing. All your officials this evening, ladies and gentlemen, are appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control. Contest in the ring is a super middleweight contest over 6 3-minute rounds. Introducing firstly in the blue corner, he's wearing the black trunks. He weighed in at 11 stone 10 pounds, and tonight competing in his 36th contest, and he's fighting out of the Whitterton and Cat Gym in Hull. Would you please give a nice warm welcome to Rob Stevenson. And his opponent across the ring in the red corner, he's wearing the white trunks trimmed with red. He weighed in at 12 stone, 2 pounds, and he comes to the ring with the undefeated record of 6 wins from 6 contests, all 6 wins coming by way of knockouts. From Belfast, please welcome Brian Magee. Your officials for this contest, your timekeepers Mr. Peter McCann, and the referees Mr. Seamus Dunn.
All right, lads, these are my instructions. Protect yourselves at all times. When I say break, I want to see a nice clean break. You both step back. And you recommence boxing when I say box on. Keep your punches in the target area, and remember, if there's a knockdown, there's a mandatory count. Do you both understand? Very best of luck, lads. All the best.
Is this Britain's brightest new star of the super middleweight division? The golden 12-stone weight, once upon a time ruled by Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank and Steve Collins, before Robin Reid, Joe Calzaghe and Richie Woodall. Time, if you haven't already seen him, to meet rising Belfast star Brian Magee here in the white shorts, just 9 days after his last stoppage win over Hull's Terry Morrill. Let's see if Hull's Rob Stevenson can fare any better. Impressed by what you've seen of Magee, Jim?
Yeah, definitely. He does everything well. Good controlled boxer, decent power. I mean, 6 stoppage wins out of 6. Can't ask for much better than that. He's patient, doesn't do anything silly. Yep, bright future ahead of him, and he's in a good weight division too, the super middleweight division, which has really become the star division recently.
Already getting his right jab out, as he did so effectively against Morrill. He was saying that Morrill was tough and durable, but he couldn't go more than 4 rounds with Magee up in Sheffield on that Clinton Woods bill just a week or so ago. Straight back into action. They want to move fast with Magee. They believe in him. He's been sparring with David Starry before Starry's fight with Calzaghe. He was sparring with Omar Shaker out in the States in the Lennox Lewis camp. He's been gaining experience even when he hasn't been in the ring. Stevenson can normally handle himself at the 4 and 6 round level. This is 6, but can he handle Magee's power? No one else has yet. Good little combination from Magee, but Stevenson shakes his head. Says, that did not affect me.
See, Stevenson very slippery in the first round, but you have to commend Magee. Just nice and controlled. He doesn't become frustrated or annoyed, just takes his time, shows a little bit of patience. He knows eventually the punches will start landing.
Just waiting off and looking for his shots. Stevenson just holding on, and Magee throws him away. Left hands go in. Thinks about what he does, Jim.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, every department, he's good in every department. He just has to keep doing as he's doing, keep improving, moving up the ladder. No panic. Just take his time. But he's got a quality look about him. Everything compact, well balanced.
Good first round for Magee.
Live international football for you this week. Tuesday night, 7:30, England's under-21 hopefuls against their Argentinian counterparts. Wednesday night, a choice of 2 live internationals. England-Argentina, Sky Sports 2. Republic of Ireland against the Czech Republic, Sky Sports 3. And if you're watching on Sky Digital, interactive coverage of the England-Argentina game on Sky Sports Extra.
Here's the second in this super middleweight contest. On the right of your screens, with the white trunks trimmed with red, is Brian Magee, the 24-year-old from Belfast, from the Holy Trinity Gym, the same as Damien Kelly, the new European flyweight champion. big things expected up against Rob Stevenson from Hull, 28 years of age. Only won 10 out of 35, but he can handle himself, usually. Did have a break out of the ring, 15 months. Came back in December to take Butch Leslie the full 6 rounds. Looked quite awkward in the first round for a journeyman.
See Magee showing little feints, just forcing Stevenson into making mistakes, forcing him to make the first move. Nice technique.
Real student of the game, Magee. Heroes are Barry McGuigan and Steve Collins. Of course, his weight Collins, which is tapes of Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. Just waiting, stalking for the openings to come.
See, he judges distance so well. He just seems to sit just on the outside of punching range. The least little step forward. As soon as an opponent makes a mistake or commits himself, he's ready to pounce.
Good hand speed, Magee, and hits fairly sharply. All 6 so far of his opponents have failed to gone the distance. And Stevenson shows a little sign of distress, maybe the first one, and tries to move around the ring.
He's very accurate, he doesn't miss too many punches. You can see how opponents could become discouraged.
Really good weight, the super middles, the 12 stone. Joe Calzaghe, of course, the WBO champion. David Starry, who fought him in that, well, really to be forgotten fight in Manchester, is the British champion. There's Richie Woodall, of course, Glenn Catley, Tox Owo coming through. And now Brian Magee. He is young, 24. Highly successful amateur, and it's all going well for him in the pro game so far. Welcome back to the Elephant and Castle. There's Brian Magee, the man that manager Frank Maloney says is a better prospect than Ricky Hatton. Different weight division, but he's red hot, isn't he, Jim?
Yeah, but does everything well, everything controlled. He's just putting on a nice little boxing show here. He has Stevenson solved out already. He's just probably gradually increased the pace.
Here's the third. Magee in the white trunks from Belfast. Stablemate of Damien Kelly. 3 gyms in Belfast. It's buzzing back there again. Fighters like Neil Sinclair, Eamon Magee defends his Commonwealth title in a couple of weeks. Michael Ayres and Jamie McKeever all training over there. Magee's up against Rob Stevenson from the Whittington and Cat Gym in Hull. Gives us that very popular man of the circuit, Tony Booth. Magee with the height and reach advantages and the speed. Good left, and Stevenson nods in acknowledgement. That was a good one. Out of range with his own jab.
See, as well as having every punch in the book, every move in the book, he's taking nothing back. And Stevenson's not bad. As you said earlier, at this level, he's a decent opponent, but he just can't make head nor tail of Magee.
His feet movement, so nice, Brian Magee.
Yes, it's perfect balance he has, and he's very good at judging distance. You know, he's just standing right there, a little half step back, he's out of range of the punches coming his way, a little half step in, and his own punches are landing. He has it down to a fine art.
Starting to swarm over Stevenson now. upping the tempo a little bit, just measuring the whole man with his jab before following through with those lefts.
Stevenson's still fairly lively, so Magee can't really get the big punches home. But a good short, sharp little punches he's throwing, good combination.
I remember Magee was only fighting 9 days ago. It's a remarkable turnaround. And Terry Morrill, his opponent of the other night, had 5 weeks' notice for that fight, and he was taken apart. Magee was telling me earlier it's difficult to fight in such short space of times. Would that be right, Jim?
Yeah, well, when you're winning and your enthusiasm's high, I mean, it's not been a particularly punishing fight, you don't mind so much. At this stage in his career, yes. Obviously not when you get up to the tougher fights and the longer fights. But he's thriving on the game at the moment. You can see him enjoying himself in there.
Going to the body now, Magee. Maybe sensing Stevenson's just getting a little more tired. It's all Magee. There's Brian Magee with trainer Harry Hawkins in the corner. Mick Williamson there, the cut man too. Good work, Jim.
Yeah, he's just doing as he pleases, really. I mean, Rob Stevenson's putting up a good show, but he's just beating every move. Just Magee that little bit sharper, that little bit better in every department.
Fourth of a very relaxed Brian Magee tonight, taking this almost as a sparring session against Rob Stevenson from Hull in the black trunks. Self-managed, trained by Jeff Reimer, and has 110, but is pretty decent at his own level, and he's still in there with Magee, which many of his previous opponents, the Irishman, haven't been. And he hasn't looked seriously hurt, has he?
No, see, he's in good shape and he's shifty, so Magee hasn't managed to set him up for any of the big punches, so he's not been tuned up. I mean, it's still fairly competitive, but Magee superior in every department. If the pace starts slowing and the big punches start going home, I've no doubt the referee would step in, because Magee is winning everything at the moment.
Has been stopped badly a couple of times, Stevenson. As a good left from Magee goes in by world-class Russian WBO champion Ahmet Dotuev, and in 3 by Darren Dorrington, the Bristol-based fighter who briefly retired, but I believe is coming back soon. Jab from Brian Magee. Focused on what he does.
Yeah, he's just keeping that steady stream of punches coming. He's always in Stevenson's face, and just waiting to pounce every time Stevenson makes a mistake. Lovely boxing.
Remind you of anyone?
No, I can't say it reminds me of anyone in particular, no, but I mean shades of a few fighters, I suppose, but he's very well balanced, good variety of punches. He's good in every department.
To make the quarterfinals at the 96 Olympics. Silver medal in the 98 Europeans and a bronze in the 1998 Commonwealth Games. Solid pedigree and plenty of potential.
He's looking for the body now.
Good right hand from Brian Magee, and Rob Stevenson just falls down. The gum shield is spat out. Trainer Jeff Reimer having a close look. He's picked the gum shield up, Rob Stevenson. He wants to carry on. He says he's okay. That's an old trick, isn't it? Give him a little bit more time.
Yeah, who can blame him? I mean, he's taken a couple of good body shots recently, and a good right hook put him over. Full credit, he wants to carry on, because really he's had no success whatsoever, but he's earning his wages here.
Jeff Reimers gets him back, but Brian Magee, another right hand, and down goes Rob Stevenson for the second time in this fourth round. He's up quicker. The counts at 7. His hands are up. He wants to carry on. Like the professional journeyman he is, and he tries to steam in. But surely it's a matter of time before Magee will land another class shot. Stevenson punches the air in defiance. But that was Brian Magee at his best.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's had everything under control really from the first bell. And now I think Stevenson become a little bit despondent, so the punches now that he was taking earlier on are having the effect now, and he's going down. I think it's as much frustration and just fed up with the whole thing, and who can blame him? I mean, that wasn't a devastating punch. I think it's just the fact that Stevenson's getting a little bit fed up, and I think I would be too. Everything's still controlled from Magee. No let up in the pace or the accuracy of the punches.
Nice clean shot. Certainly the second knockdown there. As we go into the 5th round, the longest Brian Magee has had in a professional ring. He's won all 6 so far within 4 rounds, and nearly did the job on Rob Stevenson as well. Stevenson that relaxed in his corner in between rounds and was saying he was fine. He was going to go out there again. A little bit of swelling by his left eye as he comes together. He's been brave.
Yep, you got to hand it to him. I mean, we wouldn't have blamed him if he'd bailed out in the previous round. But no signs that he wanted to do that. But see, he's not having any success whatsoever, made no impact whatsoever on Magee, so I mean, he must be becoming a bit despondent.
When he throws his combinations, Magee, they look hurtful. Stevenson comes back with a right of his own, but down he goes for the 3rd time. He looks in his corner again. He says he's okay. He's on one knee. He's up at 9, and referee Seamus Dunn has a good look. The 3rd time in the contest that Rob Stevenson's been over, and Brian Magee will surely now go for the finish. Off that jab, working the body, noticing that Stevenson's tiring, and it could soon be the end for the Hull man. Another right, just like the shot that got him down for the 2nd time. He goes down for the 4th time, and it's waved off by Seamus Dunn. Another inside the distance stoppage win for Belfast Brian Magee, who will be looking to march up the super middleweight division. Manager Frank Maloney said that he will be ready for British and European levels by the end of the year. Well, they really are moving him through quickly. How good is he, Jim?
Yeah, excellent. I mean, you can't fault any of his work tonight. I mean, everything he did was controlled. He solved this fellow out straight away in the early stages of the fight, and it was just a matter of time from that point on. None of the knockdown punches were devastating punches, but I think the referee called it perfectly. The fight wasn't competitive any longer. He was going on the floor with punches that shouldn't be putting him on the floor. I think he was just maybe getting a little bit fed up, a little bit despondent. And who can blame him, because it was one-way traffic all the way. Excellent performance from Magee. He'll be quite happy with his night's work. Another little improve. Every time he comes out, another little improvement shown. But Stevens has nothing left to offer at this point apart from his courage, and that's the referee picked the perfect time just to call it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 1 minute and 31 seconds of round 5, your referee Seamus Dunn having stopped the contest. Rob Stevenson, unfortunately, being in no position to continue. Your winner, and still undefeated as a professional, Brian Magee. And not forgetting your appreciation for very game boxer indeed there, Rob Stevenson.
Adam will try and get a word with Brian Magee shortly. Backstage, Stephen Smith is getting ready for the biggest test of his young pro career, challenging tonight for the British and Commonwealth lightweight titles. That's our main event here live. The champion Bobby Vanzie, and on both sides, definite ill will.
And as far as I'm concerned, he's just the normal type of orthodox southpaw. You know what I'm saying? He fights fairly orthodox. He doesn't do anything different. You know what I mean? But I bring a lot more to the table. I bring skill, angles, punching power, and you'll see me sitting down on my punches a lot more this time round. There'll be no dancing about, there'll be no entertaining, which is what I like doing. It'll be just stood. I mean, if Smith wants it, we can just stand toe-to-toe, middle of the ring, first round. Let's see who gets bombed out.
If this one lives up to the hype, it will be certainly the match for the British light middleweight title fight we brought you at the weekend. Vanzie against Smith, long awaited. Our main event here live tonight. That's coming shortly. Back at ringside now, Adam Smith has Brian Magee, who's extended his winning run.
Thank you, Paul. 7 out of 7 for you, Brian. Rob Stevenson took you into the 5th round. It's new territory.
Yeah, very tricky opponent, you know. Very hard to pick my shots, to get good clear shots on, so just use it as a learning experience. You know, not go mad, try and pick my shots, pick my punches. You know, took a fight at short notice. I was going to go on holidays, but Frank was fit and I cancelled, but so everything's turned out well.
Short notice, you only fought 9 days ago. What was that like to be back in there?
I'll tell you the truth, I felt good tonight, so I did, but just getting myself up mentally for it, but I think everything done all right.
They're obviously giving you the big launch. Will you fight again in another 9 days or a little bit more of a rest this time?
I think I'll be more rest, back to the gym, work on things I've learned, so I'll be even better next time out.
Frank, where do you want to see him next, Brian? On a big show?
He's out on March the 20th, and then he's going to go to the States and work in the training camp with the Lennox Lewis camp, and he's training Harry Hawkins, and then he'll be back in London on the big show on the undercard of McCracken and Keith Holmes. That's the sort of experience I want to give him. So by the end of the year, he's ready for the British title.
All exciting stuff. Well done, Brian, tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
If this goes on a lot longer, Barry McGuigan, the temptation to rush him will start to become irresistible, surely.
Well, there's always that temptation because he's such a clever guy, clever kid, and he punches so correctly. That's the most important thing. He gets into position quickly, he's got great movement, he's got good lateral movement. When he gets in position, he punches so accurately, and he hits the target every single time. So I like him, I like what he does. His punches are very neat, his combinations are very tight, and it doesn't take him long to figure out a pretty awkward style.
See, he's a fresh-faced youth in this business at the moment. He'll end up looking like you.
What are you trying to say?
You know, it gets tougher, doesn't it? And it starts.
Once upon a time.
You're not too bad
Once
now,
upon a
although I say it
time.
myself. It gets tougher quickly in this business.
It certainly does, yeah.
Is it the right thing to rush a talent or allow him to come at his own pace?
No, I mean, it's good to allow him to come at his own pace, but he's boxing very well. He's very well schooled. He's had a fantastic amateur career, so he's in a position to get through these fights quickly and keep him busy, keep him working.
Let's hope he can make his mark at the top of the game. At the very pinnacle is where we were on Saturday night in Las Vegas. Here now a brief reminder of a World Super Bantamweight Championship match, a unification fight that will live with the all-time greats.
Let's get ready to rumble! El Terrible Morales! Antonio Barrera!
Well, Morales soaking up these shots and coming back with some of his own. This just might be something very special if it carries on as it started. Listen to the crowd here. They are loving this. This is the best fight we have seen in a long time. We're seeing a turning of the tide here. It looks like it, Morales. He's really going for it. And Barrera does look a little tired, but look at him come back. Oh dear, this is a real barn burner of a fight. Oh, uppercut, great shot. Eric Morales. They've both got such a terrific repertoire, haven't they?
Excellent right hand coming straight back from Barrera.
Times almost matching each other, punch for punch, but Barrera just getting the better of it. He had to take one step back from a right hand, but look at this exchange now. Well, this is a firestorm, isn't it, of a fight? Morales came back before after a torrid opening 3 rounds. Can he do it again? Oh, these are good shots from him as well.
Well, this is a great comeback in this round from Morales. It was a tremendous start from Barrera, but Morales just won't be denied. He's coming back, throwing that right hand.
They must be so very, very tired. There's another Morales right, and another one, and Barrera can't take those. Not too many of them anyway, you'd think. It's another terrific round, and Morales trying to come back. Barrera, though, nails him with the right and a left hook of Morales. Wobbled down. and then another Barrera left hook, and this after Morales had hit him with a series of right hands in another memorable round here. Morales gets himself out of that spot of danger, but Barrera has won this last round, I think. And he goes down on one knee, and that's going to be a knockdown. Morales is complaining, and that might be crucial. He says, no, it wasn't an authentic knockdown. But it is counted as such, and that'll make it 10-8 on the scorecards, unless Morales comes up with something very dramatic. That might have been crucial. That might end the arguments. And we have 10 seconds left here. 10 seconds left on a fight and a night to remember for as long as boxing goes on. There it is, it's over. What an absolute barn burner of a contest that was. Wow.
For the unified champion by split decision, desde Norte, Tijuana, Mexico,
And not even the arguing over the decision can dull the memory of that performance by both fighters. On their way back, Glenn McCrory and Ian Darke stopped off, poured themselves a large one, and considered what they'd seen.
Well, it was just breathless, brilliant action here. I'd put it alongside Marvin Hagler and Thomas Hearns as the best fight I've ever seen in 20 years covering boxing. What about you, Glenn? You can't get your voice back from it, can you?
It took my breath away, it took my voice away. It was a marvellous fight. Two great athletes giving their all. They said they would, and they did. They let nobody down. Really, really proud champions.
I think the great thing about the fight, it wasn't just a toe-to-toe tear-up. That would have been good enough. These were quality combinations thrown with ferocity for round after round after round.
It was, I mean, for the real purists, or for everybody, there was something there. For the real purists, the skill that they competed at was just unbelievable. I mean, as well as a tremendous fight, as well as giving their all, you know, there was great skill in there as well.
The pity was, of course, at the end of all that, we had a huge controversy. Both Glenn and I thought that Barrera had won the fight pretty clearly. So did most other people here. But Morales got it. Two of the three judges saw it for him. What do we make of that?
Well, that's the great shame in boxing, that, you know, people never seem to get it right. You got all the ingredients, you got everything we wanted, a great fight, and then we were let down. You know, everybody went away with a little bit of a sour taste, thinking they'd been robbed of the right decision.
And of course, Las Vegas, there have been a whole series of dodgy decisions maybe here, and people have thought, well, Morales is Bob Arum's fighter, this is Las Vegas, his town, and so on. It's a shame, all of that, but I wonder what Naseem Hamed was thinking of this, watching in Tenerife, because there's this talk about him maybe meeting Morales.
Well, I think for one, he'd have been excited, he'd have enjoyed the fight, he's a fight fan, and it was a great fight, and I think, you know, he's maybe been a little bored with the business recently, and something like this may have instilled that little bit of fire back in his belly. He's going to need it if he's going to get in the ring with either of those two.
So there it is. I think boxing needs to get this business with the judges sorted out. Too many very controversial decisions. But I think boxing was the winner, and it was nothing more or less than an early contender for fight of the century.
Certainly sets a standard. Billy, what were your thoughts?
Tremendous. Absolutely loved watching it. Enjoyed every moment of it. Fantastic 12 rounds of boxing. Done the boxing the world of good. Brilliant.
How did you score it?
I gave it to Barrera. I thought he'd done enough to get it. Controversial again, but that's boxing.
Barry, you were quite strong, it must be said, on Saturday night. You felt it was the wrong decision. Yeah. Have you had any reason to think again about that?
No, I've spoken to several people, and a couple of Americans, funnily enough, over the weekend about the result. And some of them actually felt Morales won the fight, I have to say, but my opinion hasn't changed. And I think it's just a tragedy for boxing that on such a massive fight that we can't get the right decision. You know, it was such a marvellous fight, and it was very close, but we should have had the right decision. It's good for boxing, because then what it does is it lends credence to this dubious decision and controversial, and that's what's happening with big time boxing. It's not. It just happens to be unfortunate because people they're subjective and they have their own opinions about fights, and nobody sees around the same way, and that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Just a final thought. How would you view Naseem Hamed's take on those events in Las Vegas?
I'm sure he's rubbing his hands together. I'm sure he'd love to fight one of those guys. I mean, the fight that they had, I mean, they've definitely taken something out of themselves. So whoever he fights, I'm sure he's got a great chance of beating.
Back to tonight, and it's a long-expected one here, as we mentioned, the British lightweight title fight. Vanzie, yes, the champion, but with certain things to prove, certain questions against his name. Smith, the youngster, and Adam Smith sets it up.
Grudge matches like Ben and Eubank fuel boxing. Remember Tyson Holyfield?
Mr. Holyfield said bad things. A couple of guys said bad things about me while I was in prison.
I didn't say that. Did you see me say that?
That infamous bust-up between Herbie Hyde and Michael Bent. Or how about Hyde and Danny Williams? They weren't even due to fight each other. Bitter rivalry between glamour boys Joe Calzaghe and Robin Reed. And possibly the worst case in recent years when Terry Dunstan and Dennis Andrews genuinely disliked each other. Well, here we go again. So do these two. Bradford's Bobby Vanzie and London's Stephen Smith have been attacking each other for over a year.
Bobby wants me, keeps on calling me out, so let's get it on, Bobby.
I don't run away from nobody. He's saying I'm ducking him. I'm British and Commonwealth champion.
He's saying he's better than me, but I know I'm the best out there.
Let's cut the crap, you know what I'm saying? We both want to fight each other.
I don't fear any lightweight in Britain. I'm good enough to lick any of them.
I want to fight the best out there at this time, not guys that are has-beens or never were, which is what Stephen Smith's done. Back to Stephen Smith.
If he wants me, he's going to get me. He's going to get the real Stephen Smith. He's going to get the real deal.
Vanzie is the undefeated British lightweight champion, having clinically dismantled and dethroned Manchester's Wayne Rigby. The Bradford stylist also puts his Commonwealth belt on the line. Smith is the unbeaten challenger, hidden away by father trainer Darky in Germany before being launched on the British scene. So which southpaw will prove more elusive, or could their rivalry turn this into an all-out war?
I need to not just beat Smith on points, but knock him clean out. I've got to do that.
When you see me against Bobby Vanzie, you're going to see me. You're going to see a real hot Stephen Smith. This is a new fighter, a new star.
You got a message for him?
Yeah, he's going to get beat. That's the simple fact. He's going to get whacked.
Well, we hope it stays on the right side of the line. It's certainly added to the intensity of this meeting tonight, Barry.
Yeah.
The champion Vanzie, with a couple of defences behind him, would you make him the favourite here?
He has to be the favourite. Boxing News has him favoured. His style is very awkward, hands down low, 5'5", fights out of a short centre of gravity, but has long arms and has a very awkward and efficient style. Against Anthony Campbell, he looked to have lost that night, got the decision, controversial decision, but he said it was an off night for him. You've got to make him the favourite here, but I don't think he likes to fight under pressure. He doesn't like to be pressurised, doesn't like guys to stay on top of him, and I think anybody who fights with their hands around the waist does not like pressure. They like to control the pace of the fight, and he's the same. However, Stephen Smith has not been proven. He hasn't taken a smack on the chin. He hasn't showed us that he's got a tremendous punch. He hasn't got great aggression. He's going to have two of those tonight. He needs to be aggressive. He needs to have the ability to soak up a couple of good shots, because you can't get to Bobby Vanzie without doing that. And you have to have the grit and determination to push him into the late rounds. And I think it's going to be a late fight.
Got his dad in the camp here, much like yourself, Billy, in your own fighting career.
That's
Does
right.
that add or detract when you are trying to come through?
I think that, well, for me it's added, because my dad's won a couple of fights with me. He's actually forced me to dig deep, and he said, come on Bill, let's get going now, and he's helped me win fights.
We understand that Darky Smith feels it very badly, I suppose, like
as all parents do, as mothers and fathers do. Yeah, it must be. It's terrible for parents to go through watching your son fight.
Let's get a word at ringside with Jim and Adam on this one.
Thanks very much, Paul. Jim, we had a real cracker at the weekend with Paul Samuels and Wayne Alexander. Be hit or hit. What about this one? It's very different though, isn't it? A chess match of a British title fight.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, there's ill feeling between both fighters. They're both undefeated. They're both just coming towards the peaks of their careers. And as I said, a little bit of ill feeling, I think, will inject the needle in just that this fight needs. I'm not saying it'll be as good or as dramatic as the one we had at the weekend, but I expect a cracking fight tonight.
They seriously do not like each other. Will that get carried away once they get in there, or can they stick to their job?
I don't think so. I mean, Vance has already said, he's concentrating on not allowing that to happen. And neither guys are really rough houses or dirty fighters. I think it'll just make them both try a little bit harder, and I think the fans will benefit from it.
This is Stephen Smith's real chance. Has he got the tools to deal with Vanzie, who's so difficult to hit?
Well, he hasn't done anything yet to prove that he has got the tools, but we're going to find. Tonight is where we find out. This is the acid test. Vanzie has proved himself a couple of times. Now it's time for Stephen Smith to do the same.
Should be a great one. Back to you, Paul.
I think Jim Watt set it up quite nicely for us. It's after the break.
Didn't like you very much when I met you, and now I like you even less.
There's more top-class golf coverage for you this week. We bring you 5 days of exclusive live coverage of the Anderson Consulting World Match Play, the first tournament of the World Championship, and the world's top names there, including the likes of Tiger Woods and Michael Campbell. Live coverage beginning Wednesday at 7 on Sky Sports 1. Elephant and Castle in South London tonight for the long-awaited British and Commonwealth lightweight title fight. Simon Goodall will call the fighters out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to our main event of the evening. Would you firstly welcome to the ring the challenger for the titles from Kentish Town, Steven Smith.
This fight has fueled into a vengeful clash. On and off for over 18 months, we've witnessed harsh war of words with accusations, criticisms and provocations flying. It is challenger Steven Smith's biggest night. All his fans are here, and he's so fired up he wouldn't even pose for a head-to-head shot with Vanzie at last night's weigh-in. He told me he would destroy the Bradford champion by forcing a late stoppage, and that he saw it as an easy fight. Not that, Jim, surely, for a man who still has it all to prove.
Yeah, certainly it wouldn't be an easy fight, and I think this young man knows fine it would not be an easy fight. Vanzie has an unorthodox style, so you have to fight him with a tight defence, and you have to have the capability to maintain a high work rate. So young Smith can do both of those things. So different styles, but I think a good clash of styles, and hopefully we'll have a good contest tonight.
Unbelievably relaxed and focused, Steven Smith.
And now would you welcome the current British and Commonwealth lightweight champion from Bradford, Bobby Vanzie.
Well, boxers build themselves up on self-belief, none more so than the outgoing and outspoken viper, Bobby Vanzie. He really does not like Steven Smith. He's angered about the London media, who he says have given him no credit. His mission to come down to both backyards and win his beloved Lonsdale belt outright in this, the Lion's Den. Jim, he also predicted a stoppage within 8, surprising for the sort of match that one would predict to unravel here.
Yeah, I think just a little bit of mind games going on between both guys. I think they both expect this to be a long, hard fight. They don't have any pre-laid plans about looking for stoppages or so forth. And this fellow, I think he'll spend the first half of the fight trying to frustrate Smith, and just try to annoy him, cause him to make some mistakes, because he's a difficult man to box against, and I think that'll be the style he's using tonight. I don't expect him to be overly aggressive.
Just running around Steven Smith there. Smith stays focused. Vanzie all in silver. Let's have a look at the tail of the tape between these two. Both 26. Smith with a height advantage and the reach advantage, and Vanzie may be tight at that lightweight limit. He has weighed as much as 10-4. Both debuted pretty much around the same time. Smith's had more fights, although Vanzie is the double champion. Boxed almost exactly the same round. Smith slightly higher on the knockout percentage, but neither really concussive punches.
Ladies and gentlemen, live and exclusive on Sky Sports, this is our main event of the evening. Frank Maloney for Panics Promotions, in association with Energising Red Square, the drink that packs a punch, are proud to present a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the lightweight championship of Great Britain and the Commonwealth. Between and introducing, firstly in the red corner, he is wearing the black trunks trimmed with silver, and he brings to the ring an undefeated record of 24 wins from 24 contests, 15 of his wins coming by way of knockout. At yesterday's weigh-in, he tipped the scales at 9 stone, 8 1/4 pounds. He comes to the ring as the former IBF Intercontinental Champion, and tonight, the challenger for the titles from Kentish Town, presenting Steven Smith. And his opponents across the ring in the blue corner. He is wearing the silver trunks trimmed with black. He has the impressive record of 17 contests, 16 wins and 1 draw. 7 of his wins coming by way of the big KO. He weighed in yesterday at 9 stone, 8 pounds and 14 ounces. And tonight, he enters the ring as the current British and Commonwealth lightweight champion from Bradford, introducing the Viper, Bobby Vanzie. Your officials for this contest, appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, are your steward in charge, Mr. Cecil Ross, JP, MBE. Your timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Michael McCann, and your referee in charge of the action is one of Britain's leading referees, Mr. Terry O'Connor of Birmingham.
Will they hold a stare? This is the first time these arch enemies have looked at each other in months.
Ladies and gentlemen, 12 3-minute rounds for the lightweight championship of Great Britain and of the Commonwealth.
They turned away. It's now time for their boxing wits and skills to be pitted against one another. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, and Vanzie hasn't got any tools, says Smith. As for Vanzie, he said he's been the thorn in my side. It needs to be plucked out once and for all. Jim, is there a danger the pair of them could become too personally involved with their emotions and abandon the strategy?
It may become a little bit messy in the first couple of rounds. I think they both want to intimidate each other. They genuinely don't like each other, so we may see a messy couple of rounds to begin with. But I think once a couple of punches land clean on the chin, then you get thinking, here, I better do this job properly. It's a messy already. Probably Vanzie's fault.
Just a real rough house start. Vanzie said he was going to come straight to Smith. Heads come dangerously close. And referee...
He's cut already.
There is Vanzie cut already on the forehead of Bobby Vanzie from that head clash. And he just dabs at it slightly. It looks quite nasty. And he's spinning Stephen Smith around and hits him there. Terry O'Connor says, tidy it up immediately. A nasty, messy start, as one may have imagined with all the pre-fight words.
Yeah, and I'll lay the blame at Vanzie's feet, I'm afraid. He's lunging in. I think he wants to have a tear up. I think he's doing the opposite of what everybody expected. That was a good left hand from Smith. Caught Vanzie cleanly.
Neither of these fighters are brawlers. They usually use their skills. They're going straight at each other from the opening. Again, Smith gets a left hand in. It's a good start from the man from Kentish Town, isn't it?
Yeah, Vanzie's the one doing the silly things. He seems to be the one who's reacted to the bad mouthing before the fight. He seemed to want to make a stamp on the fight straight away, and he's ended up with a bad clash of heads causing a cut.
Smith out of range, desperate to get those shots off. Unbeaten in 24, Stephen Smith. 15 by way of knockout, and now Vanzie and Smith are enjoying a little wrestling a la Naz Soto or Aldis Anderson. We don't want that. Good left on the counter from Smith. They want this bad, don't they?
Yeah, it's becoming messy again, but once again, I lay the blame at Vanzie's feet. He's just lunging in, charging in. He's trying to bully Smith, trying to intimidate him, I believe. But Smith doing the right thing, just keeping a steady pace, keeping right in his face all the while.
Both southpaws. So some people thought it might be messy beforehand. Vanzie trying to get back behind his jab. And clutches on to Smith. There's some needle there going in, and Terry O'Connor getting furious with Bobby Vanzie. Boos ring out at that. What an opener here in Southwark. There's the cut on the forehead of Bobby Vanzie. They go to work on in that corner. Godfrey Brown telling him to relax. Jack Doherty, his manager, behind him.
It was unquestionably a clash of heads that caused the cut. Probably both men equally to blame with that clash, but Vanzie come off worse. But Vanzie's been lunging in. I think he's been trying to intimidate Smith in the first round, trying to bully him, trying to rough him up. But he's come off worse there, and he's going to have to come in with a better idea. He's going to have to settle down and get back to his awkward, stylish boxing that he's good at.
Just working on that cut. Vanzie said he would not get intimidated, he would stick to his plan. He hasn't so far. Here's the second, Stephen Smith, the challenger, on the left of your screens. Stunning on the back of his black shorts. They're trying to give him the big market launch. Stunning Stephen Smith against Bobby the Viper Vanzie. Terry O'Connor warns Vanzie for holding, and the Bradford man gets back to his jab and move work that he's based his career on.
Vanzie's naturally the bigger of the two. As you said earlier, he goes up to well over 10 stone between fights. He's actually boxed at 10 stone 4. So he maybe feels if it turns into a brawl, he has the advantage.
Yes, Stephen Smith was a featherweight at the beginning of his career. To the English ABA featherweight finals. Featherweight being 9 stone, here we are at 9'9". And Vanzie has weighed as much as 10'4½". It could play the reverse effect. It could be that Vanzie's too tight at the weight. But more messy work here from both men.
Vanzie's going to end up having points deducted here, and the way things are going, it's going to be tight. I think Smith has settled quicker. He's more business-like. Vanzie just is turning this into a mess.
A little red mark as well by the left eye of Smith. Could be more cuts. Vanzie's won his heel pretty quickly. Not in a particularly dangerous place. As Smith comes forward on the attack. Vanzie tries to remain elusive. Boxed so beautifully when he won the British title against Wayne Rigby, but then maybe Rigby was made for him in that come-forward style. Vanzie picked him off.
Vanzie doesn't seem to know what he's trying to do here. Everything, I know he has an unusual style, but everything he's doing here is disjointed. Whereas Smith, nicely controlled, just keeps coming forward, boxing nicely.
Certainly looks to have settled quicker. Stephen Smith behind that jab. Vanzie again gets low. Terry O'Connor from the West Midlands is going to have a busy night by all accounts at the moment. The blood streams down Vanzie's face, that cut reopening. He's out of range, Vanzie, isn't he?
Yep, everything totally disjointed. He doesn't seem to know what he's trying to do. There's no fluency in what he's doing. Losing the place, totally dropping his hands. Really, it has not settled. 2 rounds on my card for young Smith.
Father trainer Darky working on son Stephen there, who's had a pretty effective start, Jim.
Yep, he's controlled, his boxing's been nice. Vanzie's the one who's been annoying the referee with the wrestling tactics. We know he has a very unusual style, but I think he's coming in here totally without a plan.
Very unusual because they've known they were fighting each other for so long. It's been postponed twice. The British and Commonwealth lightweight titles. Bobby Vanzie, the champion, in the silver trunks with the kneecaps he always wears. And Stephen Smith in the black, unbeaten from Kentish Town. Did most of his early boxing in Germany on the big shows out there, where Darky Smith, his father, was training the heavyweight Zelko Mavrovic. Smith getting close and Vanzie smiles at him.
Vanzie is not prepared to work up close. As soon as they're up close, he's grabbing hold of Smith. I don't know what's wrong here. Smith is not a massive puncher. You think Vanzie would be prepared to trade with him up close, but here he goes again, grabbing up close.
15 knockouts Stephen Smith has, but they've really been wearing down opponents, and this is a real jump up in class for him. His best win was probably a 10-round decision here against Anthony Maynard of Birmingham, but Vanzie, for him it's the second British and second Commonwealth defence, so he's operated at the higher level. Reading Trade Magazine Boxing News, they thought Vanzie would win this because of that, because he'd operated at the higher league. But he does look disjointed, doesn't he?
Yep, he doesn't seem to have a plan. There's no fluency, no consistency in what he's doing. Whereas Smith, steady pressure. Against these awkward type guys, you have to keep them under steady pressure, take the play away from them, you can't stand off. And that's what Smith is doing.
It's at a furious tempo, but very few shots are landing cleanly. Both men so eager. Vanzie just lands one and Smith rolls round. Godfrey Brown in the corner of Bobby Vanzie. He's up on his feet there. Oh, but he launches that right uppercut a la Nassim Hamed style, which totally missed.
See, Vanzie grabbing hold up close again. The referee beginning to get a little bit annoyed with her.
Smith more methodical, trying to work behind his jab. Had a difficult fight last time, Stephen Smith, with David Kehoe, who really wanted to bust him up.
I'm impressed the way Smith is so keen to get right back into the action after every little exchange. He's the one right back into the firing line again. He's really fancying the job here.
He did seem, honestly, totally confident about this, Smith. He said, Vanzie's got nothing to show me.
I think Smith's plan is to burn them out. I think they feel he is tight at the weight.
Okay? Come on. What? We need a towel. Towel. Put your head, please, Bobby. Put your head, please, son.
There should be some more in there. Tony, can I see a coke or two? More live football, and again a big one for you next Sunday, the final of the Worthington Cup. Leicester City looking to go one better than last year against the Cup fighters, First Division Tranmere. Both teams competing for a place in next season's UEFA Cup as well, of course. The Worthington Cup final Sunday from 2, only on Sky Sports. Back to Jim and Adam here.
Thanks, Paul. Here's the fourth round between the two southpaw stylists, although that's not quite what we've had so far. Bobby Vanzie on the left, Stephen Smith in the black trunks on the right, the challenger from Kentish Town, who's had by far the better start in this messy opening.
Yeah, and I keep saying I lay the blame at Vanzie's feet because he has an awkward style which we know about, but look, every time they come close he's turning it into a mess. He won't exchange punches up close, he's just grabbing hold and wrestling. Everything disjointed.
Time out again, says Terry O'Connor. Listen up. He's getting annoyed.
Yeah, he's doing his best to clean this up, but okay, he has to speak to both guys, but I know who I blame for this.
Vanzie just for a moment steps off now. He's just blown hot and cold through his career so far, Bobby Vanzie. He's won 16 of 17, only a draw blemishing his record. Looked so good against Rigby, and very good when he won the Commonwealth title against Anthony Nazor of South Africa, but then dreadful when he defended the British for the first time against Anthony Campbell, and pretty average against Guyana and Vincent Howard, where he won easily over 12, but it was very mechanical and repetitive. We just don't know how good Vanzie is.
He's got a strange style. I mean, it's not an orthodox style, but I mean, this is really poor stuff. He's not landing any clean shots. He's jumping around, wrestling up close. The cleaner boxing, I mean, every round's fairly close, but the cleaner boxing definitely coming from Smith.
Terry O'Connor again separates them. he refereed that messy brawl between Michael Aldis and Sean Anderson at Burns Night that we saw a while ago. He's had a busy couple of months, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, this one is a little bit better than that. I mean, this is exciting stuff. We have to say that they're both going at it, and you can't fault them for effort.
Absolutely, it's sheer effort in there at the moment.
And again, I'm impressed the way Smith is so keen to get back into the fray again.
Well, this is his test, Jim. I mean, this is where he's got to prove himself. Vanzie already has at this level.
Yep, I think he's been instructed to burn Vanzie out. I think they believe Vanzie is tight at lightweight, so they're going to make him work in every round, and that's what he's doing. And that is the perfect tactics against Vanzie.
Better work from Vanzie, all but briefly. Yeah, back in September when they fought on the same show, Vanzie weighed 10.4 and a half, and there wasn't an ounce of fat on him. How he makes 9.9, I don't know. Again, timeout. And this time Terry O'Connor is going to take a point off Bobby Vanzie for holding. There's applause from the corner of Stephen Smith. That's bad news for Bobby Vanzie after his pretty bad start here. Again out of range with that right corkscrew uppercut.
Well, I think the referee agrees with myself, Adam, that the fault lies at Vanzie's door.
Well, it's all going wrong at the moment for the Bradford champion. Back he goes to the corner, and what will Godfrey Brown be saying to him?
Well, I don't know if he's the kind of kid who boxes to instructors at any time. I think he does his own thing. But he has to settle down. He has to be more constructive in his thinking, more constructive in his boxing. He doesn't seem to have any plan. He's gone through the motions.
Fast, sharp boxing is what they're saying to him.
Yeah, but he has to do something constructive. Everything he's doing is messy, disjointed, and just all over the place. You look at this. That's the point deducted, and you can't say he hasn't had enough warnings. The referee has warned him several times to clean it up.
Fifth round of an intriguing British and Commonwealth lightweight fight. We knew it was going to be interesting between these two unbeaten fighters, both 26, both arch rivals. Bobby Vanzie in the silver, the southpaw from Bradford, and Stephen Smith in the black shorts, the part-time model and build out of Kentish Town. Both made a quiet rise to the ranks. Vanzie on dinner shows up north and Smith out in Germany. This is their stage now.
Vanzie seems to have settled down a little bit now. He's maybe going to try some more orthodox boxing for a change.
As he's not rushing in like he was mostly in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Trying to get his little combinations off. Godfrey Brown in the corner saying, that's the way, Bobby. He's really in the lion's den here as well, Vanzie. Stephen Smith boxed here so many times. His 5th fight in the Elephant and Castle. All his home support here.
Smith's a lovely, neat boxer, everything under control. Good balance, just keeps coming forward, but Vanzie certainly improved his boxing in this round.
It's a good jab from Vanzie. This is better work from the man who calls himself the Viper, who will win the Lonsdale belt outright tonight if he's successful. He says the only people it's for are for his 2 little girls, Keisha and Kenya. He's got a lot of work to do.
Vanzie a lot more control now. Still being backed up, still a little bit all over the place. See a little bit of smudge on his left eye. I don't know if it's a graze on Vanzie's left eye.
The crowd chants Stephen. Stephen, will this be his night? trapping Vanzie on the ropes. He's watched tapes and tapes of Bobby Vanzie, has Smith. Knows how awkward he is. Just said he was going to wear him down and pressure him from start to finish.
Well, there's signs that Smith is lasting better than Vanzie. He's always first to pick up the action again.
Back to the British and Commonwealth lightweight titles here at the Elephant and Castle. There's the British rankings. Bobby Vanzie at 4 and Stephen Smith at 5. A tremendously strong domestic division. Billy Schwer there, maybe fighting European champion Julian Lawsey. Michael Ayres in action in March, and Colin Dunn as well. Terrific division and plenty of money to be made, Jim, for the winner of this.
Yeah, some attractive domestic matches at lightweight at the moment. Really interesting division.
Very good worldwide as well, with Stevie Johnston displaying his skills to us when he beat Billy Schwer here in November. And the excellent Paul Spadafora is the IBF champion, Southport. Strong 9 stone 9 division. Back here, and Bobby Vanzie with plenty of work to do. Did you give him that last round?
Yeah, that's the first round I've given Vanzie, actually. Smith, you don't want to be throwing single punches at these awkward fellows. You want 2 and 3 punches. You want to feint and want to mix up the pace. Smith keeping the pace going, but just a little bit one pace. You have to start confusing this guy.
Vanzie just trying to be awkward and make Smith miss. Terry O'Connor again says, don't do it, don't hold.
I think he realised he was ready to go back into a wrestling hold again. Smith back on the front foot again, boxing well again.
It seems to me, Jim, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when Vanzie throws his shots, he seems off balance and then Smith can counter.
Yep, he's all over the place. All he can manage is one swinging punch. Whether that lands or not, he has to clinch at her head for safety. There's nothing really smooth in his boxing. He's always a little bit awkward, a little bit unconventional, but he's usually smooth. Everything disjointed still.
Seems very calm, Stephen Smith. Both at the weigh-in last night, and I saw him at breakfast this morning. He was down a cafe in Camden Town and looked just at ease with himself. No nerves at all, whereas Vanzie's had to come down. He's stayed the night over in Euston. He's a long way from home, and not many of his supporters have managed to make the trip down on this Monday night.
It's a far better championship contest now. I think the little bit of needles settled down. We're seeing some decent boxing now.
As both men reverting to that side. Vanzie trying to work Smith's body and use that extra strength that he's got. Very broad shoulders, Bobby Vanzie. Only 7 knockouts. Game told to break by referee Terry O'Connor. And let's see how Billy Schwer is seeing things up in the studio. Billy.
It was started off a bit scrappy, but as Jim says, they're starting to settle down now, so it's become a little bit more interesting. I've got Stephen Smith well ahead, with the point deduction as well for Vanzie. He's I reckon 4 or 5 rounds ahead.
Thanks very much, Billy, who hopes, of course, to challenge Julian Lawsey for that European title. There is Stephen Smith with his father, trainer Darky, in the corner. He's been with him from the beginning.
I'm also impressed with Smith's defensive boxing. Tight defence, chin down, elbows in, so even when Vanzie sends off the odd swing, he's catching most of them on his arms. But still, Vanzie totally disjointed.
Second half of this domestic 9 stone 9 fight. Eagerly anticipated and awaited between Stephen Smith and Bobby Vanzie. Vanzie in the silver, remember, the Viper from Bradford, champion, holds both the British and Commonwealth belts. Stephen Smith, the challenger, who has only won intercontinental titles in the past. More fights he's had 24 to Vanzie's 17, and he looks mature here tonight.
Yeah, he looks a solid little performer. I mean, everything under control, chin always where it should be, elbows in, hands up, just marching forward, just dictating the pace.
Technically, he looks at the moment the better man, Smith. Anthony Campbell, who almost beat Vanzie for the British title, spars a lot with Stephen Smith and rates him really highly. He had good wins in the amateurs against Steve Murray and Patrick Mullings. Was outpointed in the English ABA featherweight final by Dean Pithy, but his close friend Bradley Stone had tragically died just before. He's learnt the trade well, hasn't he? Maybe he did do things right going out to Germany.
Well, he's very well schooled, obviously. His father been a good class pro. You know, it's been instilled in him right from the off, but he has the basics, so whenever he runs into a little bit of trouble, he goes back into that nice little shell, little tight defence, but he's boxing well. This is a more even round, this one.
What has Vanzie got to do now?
Well, he really has to start taking the initiative a bit more, put punches together as he's doing now. Everything's been like single punch swings and grabs and holds. He has to get a bit of fluency into his boxing.
For the first time, Smith takes a deep breath. They've been working very hard on his conditioning, on his fitness. They've installed Mike Pratt, who worked with Paul Ingle before the Manuel Medina triumph, who's been working on his tissue mass and anaerobic work with him. What he eats, what he drinks, allowed up to 3,000 calories a day. Asked him what he was going to eat off the way, and he said whatever he liked. They think they've got the Smith body into perfection. Will it come down to strength, though, as we go into the latter rounds?
Yeah, and I don't think it's physical strength we're talking about here. I think it's comfort at the weight and stamina. At the moment, signs are Stephen Smith is happier with this pace than Vanzie is. Vanzie's boxing well in this round, but he seems to be forcing the action out, whereas it's a little bit more fluent from Smith.
When you do those, when you're up to him and you do those combinations, get round the sides then, okay? You hear me? Get round the sides then. And then don't give that ground. 2/3 of that round, you won. All you do is move back for a little bit more leverage. We're doing that same round again, okay? It's hard, it's painful, but we're doing it again. Because you've got to hurt him, okay? I know you can do it.
That's Godfrey Brown reading the riot act to Bobby Vanzie. I know you can do it. Jim, how far behind is he?
Well, I'm just scoring rounds as we go. I'm looking forward to seeing my card when it comes up. I've not kept the running to it. There it is, there I have him 4 points in front.
4 points in front on Jim's unofficial card with 5 to go. Here's the 8th. Challenger Stephen Smith has been methodical, mature and professional so far in front of his home fans in his first acid test. Champion Bobby Vanzie seemingly has it all to do in the silver trunks. But can he wear Smith down? Smith's never been the 12-round distance. They're rated by the Independent Council, Vanzie at 43 and Smith at 41, so very, very close match. But Smith hasn't made it close, has he?
Well, Vanzie certainly has been some improvement in his work. Smith struggling just a little bit in this round to get into range. Vanzie...
Oh, and there could be a low blow there. Stephen Smith held his protector. Was it low or was it a little body shot? He's Been told to take in a bit of time, and Terry O'Connor says, hold it up. Keep your punches up, Bobby Vanzie. Smith takes some deep breaths. He's been given a chance to recover from that. And back they go. Or was that a sign of discomfort from Smith?
No, I think it was a low blow, definitely a low blow. And he didn't make too much of a song about it, but I think it was accidental. The referee gave him a little warning to keep them up. I'm sure he agrees it was accidental.
Is that because Vanzie's trying to work the body now?
No, I think Vanzie's punches are wide and long, and sometimes, you know, if the opponent moves in as you launch the punch, it lands earlier. That was another one which could have landed low.
He launches with these punches, Bobby Vanzie. When he fought Wayne Rigby, he was rather unknown on the circuit, and good right hand from Smith there. Vanzie speaks to him in there and says, no way, not good enough. Looked so impressive when he beat Rigby, did Bobby Vanzie. People were starting to say a sort of mini Nassim Hamid. Again, a low blow. Very, very borderline there from Vanzie. And Terry O'Connor is going to say, time out. Will he take a point away from that? Stephen Smith is in agony. He's lifted to his feet, and he's been given time again by Terry O'Connor. Let's have a look, Jim. See how low it was.
It was low punch. Strangely enough, it didn't seem in the danger area. It seemed to be the hip and thigh, but I mean, obviously if it moves the cup, it's going to be painful.
There's anger in the Smith corner. They don't like that. Vanzie's starting to talk. And there's no gum shield either. Godfrey Brown puts the gum shield back in. And Terry O'Connor says, don't play on it to Stephen Smith. Was that acting?
I'm wondering, because the punch didn't look really in the danger zone. I wonder maybe a little bit of gamesmanship, trying to get another point taken away. But for me, Vanzie was winning the round up to that point.
Some clean shots going in now. And they really are fired up for this one, these two. Again, Vanzie works the lower regions of Smith's body. Got to be careful he doesn't stray low again, because another point could be costly.
Well, there's the two warnings in the same round, so another low blow and he will lose a point.
Paul Lawson over there in Stephen Smith's corners, banging the canvas.
Now we're seeing a quality British title contest. This is much more like it.
They're thinking about what they're doing.
Yeah, but the needle has left and they're both trying to do a job now.
A fascinating match between these two men. Stephen Smith has the minute to recover. Darky Smith. And there's Paul Lawson on the left of your screen who looks after Stephen Oates. Mick Williamson also in the corner in case of cuts. Let's have a look at the first of the low blows.
I mean, again, both shots were definitely low, but for me, they didn't look as though they were really down in the danger zone. Possible when a low blow moves the protective cup that the fighters are wearing, it can cause discomfort. But again, it didn't look to be all the way down in the danger zone. It's not mean it's taking the punches, remember.
Maybe he's just getting a little tired, a little stressed. Stephen Smith as Godfrey Brown says, fight. Fight, Bobby, for your daughters. Back they go. Plenty of energy still, Jim.
Yeah, this has come along nicely. This really is a good quality match now. Vanzie looking stronger all of a sudden.
This is the territory that Bobby Vanzie wanted to take it into. He had that 12-round fight for the Commonwealth title just recently against Vincent Howard, and he breezed through the full distance. Smith's never been 12 rounds. As Vanzie tries to wear Smith down now.
Smith not keeping his head protected as he was earlier on in the fight, and that is the first sign of tiredness, starting to take punches full flush on the face, whereas before he was slipping away from them. Little signs of tiredness now in Smith's work.
Will that weight difference come into effect? Smith, who has come up in weight, and Vanzie, who started as a light welter and has come down to hold at lightweight. Again, looks slightly low from Vanzie, and Smith grimaces.
There's a marked deterioration in Smith's boxing in this round. I think suddenly he's just gone a little bit tired.
Left hand from Vanzie, and he's certainly enjoying the best moments of the fight as Smith goes down with a little right hand. And Terry O'Connor says no knockdown. Was it, Jim?
I think he was stumbling towards the floor and the punch landed in the back of his head. So I think the referee's given him the benefit of the doubt, but he is really struggling here. I think he is running out of steam.
Good clean work from Vanzie, and Smith's in trouble on those ropes. He's keeping the gloves up, but Vanzie's waiting the shots in, and Terry O'Connor might well stop it here. He does! It's over! And Bobby Vanzie suddenly turns the contest around to retain his British and Commonwealth lightweight titles here in this, the 9th round. And the Lions Den of the Elephant and Castle, and suddenly, after he boxed so well, Jim Stephen Smith, he fell apart on those ropes.
He really went tired in the finishing round there. Now that was a real difficult one for the referee. He was staring, he was trying to make his mind up whether to stop or not. There was a chance Smith could have got back into it again, but he didn't throw punches back. He was getting blasted with shots. He wasn't moving his head, he wasn't punching back. He left the referee with no choice. It was a difficult decision, and the referee took the decision he had to take, the safety of the boxer first.
It was the right one to take. He didn't stop it too soon.
No, it was a difficult one to decide. Okay, if this fight had been in Mexico, for example, that fight would never have been stopped. But we don't do the things, thankfully, here the way they do it in Mexico. But you can see he was very tired here.
Was this a knockdown?
Punch landed, yeah, he's entitled to claim that was a knockdown. The referee gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he was very fortunate, I thought. But suddenly he just went tired. He was taking shots full force on the face right from the start of the round, which is the first sign of tiredness. And that, to me, was a knockdown.
Let's have a look at this finish, Jim, just after the knockdown. Smith tired, but did Terry O'Connor make the right one?
Well, he's on the ropes, he's taking shots. He's not moving his head much. He's not punching back. He left the referee with no choice. He didn't grab hold of Vanzie, he didn't punch back, didn't move away from the ropes. The referee thought about moving, had a second thought, then went in again and stopped the fight. He had to stop the fight.
And he didn't protest Smith either, did he?
No, he didn't protest. He'll probably be upset when he watches the tape of this fight, but he left the referee with absolutely no choice. The referee has to take the safe way out.
Vanzie's 8th stoppage win, and look how happy he was, the Viper, to come down and do it on foreign soil down here in London. He wanted it in Bradford, he got it at the Elephant and Castle and got his win.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes and 9 seconds off round 10, your referee Terry O'Connor having stopped the contest. Stephen Smith, unfortunately, being noticed to continue. The winner, and still the British and Commonwealth lightweight champion, Bobby Vanzie. And not forgetting your appreciation, very brave challenger indeed there, Stephen Smith. I'd now like to ask our steward in charge, Mr. Cecil Ross, to present the Lonsdale belt and the Commonwealth belt to the winner, and still the British and Commonwealth lightweight champion, Bobby Vanzie.
Not many people like him here tonight, but he doesn't care. Isn't this the most extraordinary game? 1 second to the next in boxing, you never know what's going to happen. It surely looked to be Stephen Smith's night, but Vanzie's power turned it all around and quickly. We'll try and get a word with the winner and maybe the loser as well in just a few moments. Before we close tonight, we also have some heavyweight action for you. The Georgian, Georgi Kandelaki, one of Frank Maloney's big hopes for the future, 12 straight wins as a heavyweight, 10 by knockout, looking to extend that run tonight against the experienced Frenchman Antoine Palatis. That's coming up shortly. But Bobby Vanzie turned it all round. Would you believe it? Now, he talked pretty well before the fight, and there was lots and lots of, shall we say, mutual animosity. I wonder how his mood is now he's won it. He certainly has a Lonsdale belt, and Adam Smith is getting ready to talk to him now.
Well, Bobby, first of all, how does it feel to have that Lonsdale belt outright?
Well, at the end of the day, Adam, like I told you before, it don't belong to me, it belongs to my daughter Lakeisha and my other daughter Kenya. It's for them two. There were no way nobody were going to take them for him. I went through hell and back in there. Through hell and back. Smith, I've got to give him respect. He disrespected me at the start. At the end of that fight, I've got to give him respect.
You touched gloves at the end, which was nice.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it is all about sportsmanship. I mean, it was mainly his crowd that was causing all the disturbances. You know, I've been through a lot before I came to this fight. Inspectors were having a go at me. Then the people yesterday were having a go at me. Were terrible. Psychologically terrible. But I battled through it. I'm a fighter.
You looked out of sorts through the first few rounds. What was going on?
You tell me, Adam. I just felt terrible in there. I boxed terrible. I wasn't sharp. It was as if Smith knocked me out of my rhythm somewhat. You know, but we go back to the drawing board. We work on that. I'm a double champion still. Bona fide now because I've defended it twice. So it's mine outright.
Did you think you were way behind on the cards?
Not way behind. I thought we were a couple of rounds, most definitely. But before I go on, can I just say thanks to my sponsor, Randolph Victor from PRS. Love you. Glyn from the Ellen Group and Connections and Mobile Phones from Bradford. Love you all.
Bobby, how did you turn it around, though, at the end? Did you just see him tiring?
Well, look, at the end of the day, I started off my amateur career as a brawler. Just an all-out brawler. I came out from the crouch, and then it was good night. That was it. That's how I survived in my amateur career. Then I learned the scientific side of the sport with Godfrey. Brought me along leaps and bounds. You know, so I realised that in there, desperate times call for desperate measures. So I had to go in there and I had to resort back to my old school way of fighting, which is just roughneck, you know?
It was good stuff. What's next for you? Billy Schwer up in our studio. There's Michael Ayres, Colin Dunn. Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for probably Colin Dunn because at the end of the day, no disrespect to either fighters, Michael Ayres or Billy Schwer, but I feel they are at the twilight of their careers. You know, and why box somebody and beat them? And then somebody else said to you, well, you want to beat him, he was on his way out anyway. I want to fight somebody hungry. Colin Dunn, he's the man, I love him. Respect you.
Well done tonight, Bobby.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks a lot.
love you.
Could talk too, can't he? Billy Schwer's thoughts on that later. Also, Barry McGuigan's verdict on the big fight and the heavyweight action, Georgi Kandelaki against Antoine Palatis. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier met 3 times, perhaps their most dramatic meeting, the third meeting from 1975, recalled in our Big Fight series, Sky Sports 3, Tuesday evening at 10. Quite dramatic here tonight too. Bobby Vanzie has retained his British and Commonwealth lightweight titles, a 9th round stoppage win over Stephen Smith, even though by his own admission, Vanzie knew he was trailing maybe by 2 or 3 rounds to that point. Was he, Billy Schwer?
He was, yeah. It started off a scrappy fight, but he did turn it around towards the end. His strength came through and he produced the goods and got rid of Stephen Smith.
Did you see that dramatic a turnaround coming?
Not really, no. But Stephen Smith did start to fall apart the last couple of rounds. You could see him, he was getting tired, the body shots were weakening him and he was struggling a little bit.
Barry, how did you view that fight? There were a lot of questions thrown up by it.
There were a lot of possible things that could go wrong for both fighters. We didn't know. We knew that Smith had question marks whether or not he had the strength to go the long distance, whether he could take a punch, whether he could muscle it out with Vanzie. Vanzie looked disappointing at times and yet he looked great at other times. But I have to take my hat off to Vanzie. He soaked it up in the early rounds. He didn't look good. He looked like he was going to be taken out at that stage. He was well behind at that stage. I am 3-4 rounds up. And suddenly he switched to the body. That's when the fight started. When he started catching him to the body and Smith went down 2 or 3 times. Punches that hit him on top of the cup, not low down like Jim said. And they would have been dangerous if they'd been low down. And he wasn't deterred by the warnings from the crowd and from the referee. He was able to stick to his game plan. He whacked the body hard and suddenly the kid fell apart. And I caught him with that left hand at the end and that was a great shot. I mean, the body shots had really taken the steam out of Smith. He just lost his game plan. Once those body shots started taking effect, it weakened him completely, and that left hand over the referee Terry O'Connor should have given the benefit of a count there, but he didn't. He thought it. He thought he did.
It was a genuine knockdown, wasn't it?
He was a genuine knockdown. He was hit with a full-blooded punch, and then he just took up, and it was 1 minute and 3 seconds. I looked at the clock at that time, and he had nothing left, and the referee stopped him at the right time. He had nothing left, and he wasn't going to get through the round. There was no way.
Billy, I'll ask you to respond now to what Mr. Vanzie was saying about you, that really he doesn't want to fight you because you might be on the downslope.
The Twilight Zone. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Let's get it on. I mean, the British and Commonwealth titles, I've been there, I've done that. I'm #1 challenger for the European title, so I'd like to, my next fight, I'd like to challenge for another version of the world title, ideally.
But you would take that against Vanzie?
Who knows? I mean, let's see what happens. Let's get all the cards on the table and see what sort of deals there are available, and let's take it from there.
It's quite clear, though, that you are going to fight on. That's
definitely so, yeah, definitely, without doubt.